Hello and welcome to the Power of Charms interview series. Today I have Elaine Birks-Mitchell, and we're going to have a lot of fun today because Elaine and I met through the Social Enterprise Alliance. My business employs charities, and we do a lot of work with social impact, and so does hers. And she has such a story to tell. She's the CEO of the Bra Recycler and also the Undie Chest. So she's got like a nonprofit arm and a business arm. And she just won the governor's award for the Volunteer Service Award. So we're going to have her tell all about that. But first, Elaine, let's tell us kind of overall your concept, what you do, how the two are married, and I'll ask questions throughout, but I just want you to just tell us all about it.
Oh, absolutely. And thanks for having me, Kay. It's amazing for us to just get on and chat. I love when we chat. So, for most people have heard of the Bra Recyclers, or many have heard of the Bra Recyclers. So we are a social enterprise. And as you know a lot about it being a social enterprise. And, we got started because, again, there's that problem or opportunity that's out there, and we want to figure out how we can solve that. And we solve that by using entrepreneur principles. That is what typically social enterprises do. So for us, we knew that there were opportunities to help nonprofits right here in the Phoenix area, but actually all over the country and the world, for women and girls going into these programs who didn't have pretty much anything, right? But bras is something that many of the programs lacked. And I had this idea a while ago, and I'm like, oh my God, I have all these things sitting in my drawer, all these bras, as you probably did too.
Yes, I do.
You don't know what to do with them. Many places won't take them, and for good reason, because one, they don't want to go through all the sorting of it. And again, bras is a whole nother thing, but underwear has to be new. So I my background, I came out of the corporate world like many of us. And my background was in information technology as a project manager in software development. So, my mindset was like, okay, let me throw up a web page and let's just see if I get a reaction. And, in terms of, what are women saying they're doing? Are they looking to recycle, or would they even recycle their bras if they had, an option to do that? And I got a huge response. So for me, that was kind of confirming and validated that they're like, okay, there is a need from the side of women also wanting to do good and recycle and not throw away. Then I'm like, how can I make this into a business? How do I think about making this larger? And so I got very interested in textile recycling and understanding what that industry was even about. Again, I knew nothing, Kay, about that industry. I'll just say it's a very non-transparent industry. A lot of people don't know about it. You think about it from a supply chain standpoint, it's kind of on the very end of like what retailers have to do with their waste or things they're not going to sell. So it's not one of those industries that a lot of people talk about, or a lot of retailers even talk about. So it was challenging getting into it because it was hard to, learn about it. So that kind of came all together. We kind of brought that together in terms of, okay, now we have this need we're trying to meet in terms of helping women and girls, but also now we have this other side of, in terms of the business side of what we do, in terms of, we try to negotiate with retailers and distributors to buy overstock and returns. And then, of course, we have that piece where we want to donate to over 130 nonprofits that are signed up with us. But then what we don't donate, we have other textile recyclers and clothing exporters who buy our excess. So that's our revenue side of what we do, which was a lot of people don't understand. So does that kind of give a little?
It does, and it kind of explains, but I want you to elaborate on a circular economy. This is one of the things that you have in your bio. And I said, Elaine, what is a circular economy?
Yeah.
Explain that a little further, because it's an elaboration of what you just kind of told us, I think.
Absolutely. And, just to kind of keep it simple, a circular economy basically is trying to, we'll use bras as a great example, is trying to keep that in the system or in our economy. Unfortunately, in many cases, bras and clothing, as we know with the whole fast fashion, our, landfill, burn or cut is typically a policy of what happens to many of those items. So what we want to do is keep those in circulation. We want to either look at hopefully reusing if they can be reused, because again, there's so many people in need that need those items. Or let's look at how can we recycle those or upcycle those into other products. So that's what the circular economy is about. It's about keeping it in the economy, keeping it circulated. And, now eventually it might end up in landfill, but at least we've kept it and reused it in the economy and circulated around so other people can use it before it's just dumped in the landfill. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Well, it does help. It does help. I think one of the things that I think is so amazing about you and what you're doing is that, like, there's a sustainability factor and then there's the social impact factor. So it's like you've created this amazing concept where sustainability meets social impact, and just marrying the two is so unique. And I mean, so this just kind of evolved. Keep telling us the story. Okay.
Yeah, it did. And, again, my initial thoughts of starting the Bra Recyclers was to help, many of the nonprofits that were helping women and girls as being rescued from human trafficking or domestic violence situations. So that's where it started. It was that need. And then we're like, how can we make this bigger? How can we make this a business? And for me, Kay, it has always been something I've wanted to do in terms of, I was in the corporate world for so many years, but it wasn't, how it doesn't just give you that satisfaction or that feeling that you're really giving back or doing something meaningful for others. And that's and I'm sure for you too, that's what drove a lot of what you do and why you do what you do. And I know I needed to do something that was going to make me feel fulfilled and satisfied, and knowing that I'm making a difference and kind of leaving that legacy and getting other people engaged and helping make a difference. So that was important for me. And that's one of the main reasons I started the business and tried to figure out how to make what I was doing into a business.
Yeah, right. Like combining passion with purpose.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And which one came first? The Undie Chest or the Bra Recycling?
The Bra Recyclers, absolutely. That came first. So interesting enough. So the Undie Chest, that's the nonprofit arm. We actually just kicked that off in the fourth quarter 2022. And, that was something, I'll just tell you, Kay, something that I been holding off on for a long time, because I am a huge proponent, as you are, on the social enterprise model. I firmly believe that you can make just as big a difference as a for-profit as a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. Now, there's positives and negatives with that, as you probably know. So, for us, what we were finding, Kay, is that, when we were trying to approach many of the larger corporations, the social enterprise model still, particularly here in the US, is still like, what is that? I'm not sure about that. So when we were approaching, particularly a lot of the retailers, they're like, oh no, we only deal with nonprofits. So are you telling me that's stopping you from recycling just because we're not a nonprofit? So I was hearing that often, and I'm like, okay, I need to take that argument off the table. So I'm like, okay, so if we start a nonprofit arm off the Bra Recyclers, hopefully we can attract in some of those larger retailers that will only deal with a nonprofit. So a lot of it, as you probably know, is the tax deduction. They're going to write it off anyway as damaged goods, but they want that larger write-off in terms of, the value of the items that they're either donating or recycling. So that was one of the reasons. But the other reason, and a really reason near and dear to my heart, is that we wanted to expand our outreach, Kay, to schools. So I don't think people realize the need of underwear in our school system. It is huge. So we started talking to and partnering with the School Nurses Association, which is under the Department of Education. And, hearing the stories of what these nurses and teachers are going to is just crazy. Again, they're not just teaching anymore in school, as you probably know. They do so much more. But, I got an amazing letter from a teacher who reached out to me just saying, hey, I got a student here. She's 6th grade. She is being bullied. She's being teased because she was very large for her age. She was 6th grade and like a 44G. And so she's like, how can you help us? because again, many of these schools, as you probably know, particularly Title I schools, don't have the funding to buy things like underwear. So there, it was just stories like that were happening. So of course we said, well, absolutely, we will send you something for her. And then it was just amazing to hear the stories after. She's saying how she got the bra and she felt like it was like Christmas, and they said she was standing straight, and she just the whole positive attitude of getting something that simple. Just think about that simple, that just can change a person's or a young person's life. So it started there, and then we started also getting some other calls from teachers too. So I'm like, what can we do to help?
Right.
And taking on schools is a big effort.
Oh,
It's a big effort, and we can't do it by ourselves. So that was another reason why moving that over into a nonprofit, we thought that would make a bigger difference. So
very good move, a good business move, but a good social move. It's so funny when you get into working a business and working with different things, how something like that need that no one really ever thought about before, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, of course there's a huge need, but nobody talks about it. Just like a friend of mine that I interviewed that has a diaper bank. It's like, whoever thought that people couldn't get diapers? I mean, you just don't even realize it. So another amazing thing that you're doing is creating awareness around this social and physical need of underwear.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting you say that. I was at an event yesterday, and I started talking about how we are partnering with school nurses and working with some of the schools. We're going to do 12 pilot schools here in 2023 in the Phoenix area, and I get this every time. I get the response, I didn't even know it was an issue in our schools. And you just kind of like, oh my God. I'm like, we all need to just like unmute that conversation. And it's like, yes, it's an issue. And then I always tell people, think about when you were in school and there was always that kid. There was that kid who, didn't have quite nice clothes. They might have been a little dirty, and there was, maybe a little kind of didn't smell so good. They probably were one of those kids who were, didn't have the resources. Their parents did not have the resources to get them clean underwear for the entire week. So they were there right in front of us, but we just didn't talk about it.
Or notice it. Yeah. So
exactly.
Kudos, Elaine. That's
thank you.
Really wonderful.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a crazy woman taking it on, but you know what? It has to be done. So.
Oh my gosh. So do you have a lot of employees, or do you engage volunteers, or how do you manage this?
Very interesting. I don't have a lot of employees. I definitely have some good people who work with us. So, I have a social media person. We have had some interns. It's, as you probably know, it's really tough finding interns that want to really stick with it. And even just, I'm just going to tell you, Kay, just finding just good people in general, doing good, as you know, costs money. And it's sometimes doing good. It's hard to find good people who just want to do good. And particularly want to do good for free. So
wait a minute, there's some work involved here.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's been tough. I've worked with a couple organizations that have provided some really good volunteers or interns, but again, most of the time they're for a short period. We Make Change has been one of the really great organizations we've worked with. And I think what I try to do, Kay, is position it as, let's build your experience. So then, because I know you're not going to be with me forever, right? But let us build up your experience so that when you go out to look for a job, you can put this on your resume. So whether it's social media, whether it's working with me in terms of, we use Salesforce in our background, getting that experience level, or writing articles or blogs, depends on whatever they're trying to, whatever they're going into for their career. So I always try to position it that way. But again, it's really tough. It's very tough trying to find people who want to just do that, and particularly on the nonprofit side, do it for free. Right. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, let me ask you something. Don't you engage charities to help you sort the bras and everything? Because that, to me, is also an aspect of a social enterprise.
Absolutely.
Tapping into those nonprofits that have work opportunities.
Oh my God. So thanks for bringing that up. So one of the best ever partnerships that we have is with EpiHab. And, our industry, the textile recycling industry, is so labor intensive. So one of the things when we first started is that finding a good labor force that we could depend on and that was going to be consistent. So I was introduced and kind of seeked out EpiHab, and they actually are an organization. They are a nonprofit, and they provide people with disabilities, or in this particular case, they started out providing people who had epilepsy with job opportunities, because they couldn't work in a typical work environment, but they still could work, and they want to work. They want to be productive citizens. So when we get large loads of things in, we hire them to sort. And I'm just going to tell you, it has been an amazing partnership. And they also work with other small businesses in terms of doing tasks. And it's been great. It's been amazing. They also pick up now for us too. We work with them in terms of pickups when we have things around the city that we need to pick up. And so it's been great. So from the social impact side, we're also working.
It's fabulous social impact, and
absolutely
helping them. We work with a charity called Seeds for Autism that does all of our assembly and packaging, and it teaches young adults with autism to have skills and manufacturing and counting and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, we'll have to connect with them. I'd love to meet them.
Yeah,
because we might have some opportunities for them too.
We'll make an introduction.
Absolutely.
Love collaborating.
Yeah, absolutely. That helps.
Yeah. So tell me, what is your growth strategy? What's some new things that have happened to you this year? And what do you want to tell us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's happened is, is the kickoff of the nonprofit. And that has been, I applaud any nonprofits. It's a business. So I'm going to say that it's a business. That's a tough business. And so for us, I think from a growth perspective, it's being able to have that nonprofit arm and attract in some of those larger retailers. I think that is really key for us. Again, because we want to, again, from a social impact side, we want to help more people. And we're thinking that we'll be able to get more people or more organizations or companies who do want to start recycling programs. So that's definitely something that's a focus for 2023. Definitely our outlook for 2023 is, really trying to, even on the bra recycler side, just attract in more B2B, more companies who do want to take advantage of starting some type of recycling program, being more sustainable. We have a great rewards program, Kay, that was a big pivot for me during COVID. So we have drop-off locations around the country, but guess what happened during COVID? They all closed down.
Oh.
So it was a huge pivot. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So, again, I think having that information technology background, I'm always thinking about systematically, what can I do? And so we really had to shift and think about going after more online businesses, particularly like lingerie companies or just online companies in general, and say, how can we work with them and offer them some programs or options to get their employees, or not employees, but also customers and followers to still recycle, but also give them some incentive or reward. So what we do with our rewards program is that, when people fill out our form online and they can mail in their bras or new underwear to us, we partner with Give Back Box, so you can mail up to 50 pounds for only $20.
Give Back Box?
Give Back Box, absolutely.
I've heard of that.
They're amazing partnership we have with them. So when they mail in their items, they come in, we scan them, and then we send back, depending on who we're partnering with, a discount code, so they can get a discount to go buy new product from you or from the retailer we're working with or whatever business it is. It's not even necessarily a retailer. We've had people who have consulting companies are like, they get $50 or $100 off for whatever consulting service. So it's not just retail. So that was a huge pivot for us during COVID because everything was online. And I think the other big pivot is that I had to come up with, okay, I need to provide them with results and data. I'm a data queen. It's all about the data nowadays. So I created a sustainability scorecard so people can see the impact that they're making environmentally, because we can collect all of that back in our database and then turn it back around and show it to them in what we call like it looks like literally a scorecard, to show them their environmental impact, in addition to, you know, the social impact in terms of our donations to the nonprofits.
Wow. You have really covered all the bases, but isn't it interesting how a disaster like COVID would help you pivot into something that you might not have done before, but I would imagine it's made things streamlined and created a whole opportunity.
It did.
What retailers do you work with, and who is a good fit for you?
Yeah, so you know, one of our longest partnerships is, are you familiar with Soma Intimate Stores?
Of course.
Yeah, so we've been with them for like 10 years. So we've had an amazing partnership, and they're also drop-off locations for us.
Oh,
but again, you can have a brick and mortar store because you can be a drop-off, but you can be online also. And it doesn't have to necessarily even be a retail, like a lingerie retail store. Mm-hmm. Anyone who particularly has women as their target market, which is most businesses, and you want to provide some way for them to give back. And give back. And, you know, for women, it's simple. Look in your drawer, right? See all those extra bras you have sitting there and recycle them. And then what you do is you offer them a discount to say, hey, you've recycled your bras. Now come back and purchase a new product, whatever that might be. It could be a vacuum cleaner. It doesn't matter. So it's just, again, helping them to be more responsible and sustainable too.
So that could be a great promotion for a small women's boutique, like for the month of May. Come bring your bras in. You know,
absolutely, it can be. And then for August, what we have coming up is we have August. We're going to take August for our back to school Undie drive, and so that's going to help us support the schools. Everyone Deserves Underwear program, EDU, is our program working with the schools. So we have a goal of about 5,000 to get 5,000 pairs of underwear and raise $10,000 to support that program. So that's going to be the month of August. And
how are you getting the word out about that?
So social media, like last night I went and talked with, I was at a local first event. So we're just trying to help other people to promote it on their site. So that's how we're trying to get the word out. This will be our first one that we've done.
Wow.
And so we're hoping that, you know, we get people to sign on. We need help. We can't do this school, you know, support our schools by ourselves. It is a huge effort. Literally, we had to cut off requests from schools. We just couldn't, we're like, we can only do this pilot of 12 because we just don't have the inventory. So we've got to really promote this so we can get more support.
What is your greatest need right now? Is it product, or is it people, or is it promotion?
Yeah, I would say, you know, on the bra recycler side, well, you know, our side is so different. So we're very, the bra recycler and textile recycling is very B2B. Mm-hmm. So for us, we're definitely always looking for partners who want to purchase our excess, but also we're looking for, again, retailers who want to start recycling programs. So, and or they want to promote with their customers to recycle. So those are always great, and which means it could be any type of business, not necessarily just retail, but retail or lingerie. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking to get product in, which is great. And then on the Undie Chest side, for sure, we're always looking for sponsors, you know, funding. And again, people who want to start recycling programs and have to go through a nonprofit.
Right. Okay. So if our listeners want to get a hold of you or find out more about you, the best place to go is your website, which is thebrarecycling.com.
Yeah. So brarecycling.com is our website, so they can go there and find us. We're also on, you know, social media, and you can get links right from our website from there too. So, and we're going to be launching a new website probably in a couple of weeks, but absolutely find us on our website, and then contact us if you want to, you know, become one of our ambassadors, because that's our ambassador program. We love drop-off locations. If you have a brick and mortar and want to give back in the community, that's always another option too, to become a drop-off for us.
That's a really, really good opportunity for stores to get people into their stores as well.
Absolutely.
Expand a little bit more on the ambassador program.
Yeah, so our ambassador program, usually it's small businesses, sometimes large businesses, but a lot of small businesses who, again, want to figure out a way because they want to be sustainable, and they're not sure how to do it. And so we just make it very easy for them to do that, and also to promote this opportunity to their customers and followers. So we have a form you fill out online, and we kind of have two different tiers. So the tier where, you know, if you want like everything, like get all the data, because we provide reports and the scorecard, or else you can just sign up just, you know, to promote that you are an ambassador, and you'll get access to our logos and marketing material. But we also, what's key, Kay, is we want to help promote your business. It's a give and take. So we want to partner with you so we can help promote your business of being a sustainable and very community conscious business. And then, you know, we know that in addition to that, you'll be promoting us also. So
it's a win-win. It's a fabulous program.
It's a win-win.
You have thought of everything, but I'm sure you'll think of more things, as every business does, and every entrepreneur. There's a new idea every day. We could do that. We could do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But, well, I have so enjoyed our time together, and I'm just in awe of you and what you have achieved. And I encourage all of our listeners to check out what Elaine is doing on brawrecyclers.com, and we'll have all this.
Brawrecycling.com, yes.
Brawrecycling.com, and we'll have all this information at the end of our interview here too. But thanks again. Is there anything last comment or anything that something we didn't cover that?
Oh, I think you've covered most of it, but, you know, I tell people just, you know, when you look at trying to do something in your community, just think of those simple things. Think of those simple needs. That's what we did. You know, bras was something that wasn't, you know, people needed, and it wasn't being given to our shelters. So it was something very simple, but it has a huge impact. And now we're working with schools, same thing. Very simple, huge impact.
Serving a need, and a need that was not really identified or known. So
absolutely.
Kudos to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, take care, Elaine. Bye-bye.
Bye.